everyone, it's Mark Lyman from HomeFixated.com here, and I'm here with one of my favorite tools in general, the reciprocating saw, and my new favorite tool in general, which is this particular Milwaukee Fuel M18 cordless reciprocating saw. This is a great tool. I'll just start off with that. I first saw this in action at a media event earlier this year, and they actually had a test lined up with this tool as well as a number of other competitive brands, including some corded tools. And they basically set these up with a 10-pound or so weight hanging off the front here. And they got a bunch of guys lined up. They had sort of a row of torture material to cut through. And everyone just on go held down the trigger and let the saws do the work with the weights on them. And this tool triumphed. It beat its corded rivals. And that was really impressive to me. I mean, normally you think when you're going with a cordless tool, you're making some real compromises. And that's just not the case with this tool. It's really, really powerful, cuts really well. I was doing some testing with it yesterday on just cutting through 2x4 material, which is a pretty common application for a recip saw. And I was able to do 81 cuts through 2x4 material on one charge of this 4 amp hour M18 battery. So really great stuff. Let me walk through a couple of the features with you here. Start off with a LED light. You know, if you're doing demolition work, a lot of times you'll have the power off, or you'll be working in low light scenarios or in a confined space. Having that LED there is handy. The other thing is the blade change mechanism is pretty easy. It's this little slide here. You pull that back, that allows you to pull out the blade. You can also put the blade in a reverse direction for certain types of cutting, and then it just snaps back into place and locks into place. Solid feeling mechanism, works great. The shoe here also has an adjustment. You pull this little lever down and that adjusts the shoe to whatever cutting depth you want in terms of your blade length. And one thing I liked about the shoe is it's got this pivot on it. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're trying to keep the shoe up against the material to minimize vibration, that comes in very handy. So really like that. You can see this looks like Batman saw or something. This overmold on it is really thick and really useful, both in terms of protecting the saw. You know, a lot of times these saws get pretty banged up, especially the front end of them. Working in and around material, so it's great for that, and it's also great for grip. I mean, you just really get a great grip on the front of this tool no matter how you're holding it. So that's a nice feature as well. There's also a rafter hook on here, and it stows, you know, right on the side. You don't even know it's there until you need it, and it can save you a few trips down the ladder as well. So that's handy to have. There's a lock here to prevent the trigger from actuating. And really, you know, the only thing that I would say I would have liked to see a little more on is a little bit more of a comfortable grip. There's a little bit of a rubber mold, overmold on this, but I found for extended use, even with gloves, you know, you do get some vibration sometimes if the saw gets bound up on material, and some sort of a little bit softer material or a little bit of vibration dampening would be great to have in the handle. But other than that, this is just an awesome tool. So if you're looking to either replace or buy a new reciprocating saw, I would not even look at a corded saw at this point. I don't really think there's a compelling reason to do it. In the amount of time that it would take you to go through a 4 amp hour battery cutting with this saw, you can have another battery charged up and ready to go. For more typical usage, you can probably just crank along through a whole day on a single battery. So this is really a stellar tool. I highly recommend it. You can find more details on this particular tool review and more tools and products in general at homefixated.com. Look forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much.